Earnings are coming in strong this morning. The market is reacting with a strong up move. Bond yields are down. Oil is down. Inflation is down. There's a lull in Israel that continues. It looks like a happy day. Tesla continues to follow the NASDAQ this morning as it did yesterday, but it's, as usual, a multiple of what the NASDAQ is doing and quite nicely up as expected, because historically in the 2 weeks after earnings, Tesla does quite well. All right, this is Randy Kirk. If you like the morning show, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notify button, because you are definitely going to want to hear what Brian White has to say later today about the macro, a very, very unique take on the macro. You don't want to miss that one. And then, of course, don't forget to buy your Cybertruck bottle opener. You know, it just wouldn't be a regular morning if I wasn't talking about this incredible product. So all the information is below in the description as to the pricing based on quantities, et cetera, et cetera. All right. This morning, what we have is Tesla Roddy saying that on Monday, October 23rd, 2023, the Brandenburg State Office of the Environment rejected all objections against Tesla's plan to expand the Gigafactory Berlin. Apparently, the water situation there, has been the big deal. These fake environmentalists have been talking about over there. The reality is Tesla has used something, I don't know, like 10% of the amount of water they asked for, and they've said they won't use any more in the expansion. So I'm not sure. Anyway, those environmentalists, they didn't even show up for the meeting. So there you go. I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's see. Marketplace is reporting this morning. It says, the quote here in part of their article is, actually, historically speaking, meaning bond yields, not that high, said David Krause, emeritus professor of finance at Marquette University. He pointed out that on average, over the 100 years, if you take the 100-year average, long-term treasury yields were 5.2%. There you go. So then Business Insider, they talked to the last two major holdouts for NACS, the North American charging standard, the Tesla standard. There's only two folks that are still outstanding. So they said, hey, what's going on? Are you guys going to join up with the NACS standard? Well, a spokesperson for Stellantis, which is electrifying its notable Jeep lineup and more, told Insider in a statement Monday that the company has nothing new to announce. Their previous announcement, of course, had been they're studying the subject. Volkswagen spokesperson, the other holdout, said, Volkswagen Group and its brand are currently evaluating the implementation of the Tesla North American charging standard for its North American customers. Well, there you go. They're studying it. They're studying it. Come on, guys, get on board. All right, Fox Business. I know I rarely talk about Fox Business because I think that their business section is like worthless. Oh, okay. Did I say that out loud? Anyway, it's not that there's not smart things in there. It's just that they don't have anything newsworthy. The recent slowdown in U.S. inflation was not just a momentary blip, according to the Chicago Federal Reserve President Austin Goolsbee. The top Fed official spoke to the Financial Times last week and said it's indisputable. The declaration in inflation is a trend. Goolsbee rejected the idea efforts to return inflation to the central bank's 2% target were coming to a halt. There's a lot saying that inflation is trending down compared with what it has been, and that's what we want, Goolsbee said. It's undeniable this is a trend. It wasn't a one-month blip. We have to hope and keep an eye out to make sure that it continues. Goolsbee is probably the most dovish guy on the Fed, and I think he's covering his butt because basically I think what he's saying is, no, inflation is dead. Okay, from Sawyer Merritt this morning. Turns out the Boring Company needed a few $100 million additional, so they put out an offer to the existing shareholders, and they said, hey, guys, if you guys want to jump in and put some more money in the company, we're going to value the company right now at $7 billion. That's interesting. I'd love to see more on that. I'd love to see more about how they came to the $7 billion valuation. What is in the pipeline? What do they know? Very, very interesting about the Boring Company. All right. Barron's has an article this morning. And basically, they went down and talked about the reporting from this morning, who's reporting and what kind of earnings reporting is coming in from these various companies. We got General Electric reported third quarter earnings Tuesday, 82 cents, beating Wall Street estimates of 56 cents. Company also raised full year guidance and the stock jumped 5.7%. General Motors posted third quarter earnings of $2.28 a share on sales of $44 billion, topping analyst expectations. Shares rose 1.5%. 3M, Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, was up 4.5% after the company posted its second consecutive big earnings beat. Oh, and the article just goes on and on and on. You see what's happening here. We're having broadening earnings results showing positive not only earnings, but also expectations. The guidance is coming in nicely on all these companies. And yet you have people still with headline after headline saying, oh, the recession. Now, apparently there's going to be a very big quarter. Apparently we're going to be sitting at, 4%, 5% annualized inflation. Annualized GDP increase in the third quarter. Well, if you've got that big of a bump, could it turn out that the fourth quarter is down from that 5%, enough to make it a down quarter and therefore a recessionary quarter? Yeah, I guess so. And then could that repeat in the first quarter and we call it a recession? I guess so. I think you need, right now, with the way things are, with the crazy ups and downs that continue to ratchet through the economy, I think you'd need more than a little blip down or something to call it a recession. And as I mentioned a couple of days ago, or was that yesterday morning? I lose track. The trucking industry says they're beginning to see an upward slope in their loads. Later this week, they will have their actual report, even though it's kind of a lagging one. It'll still give us a little more indication, and UPS reports. As you know, I believe trucking to be one that you can really look at and see where is the economy actually going. I do think we might have a soft Christmas, but I don't know. Grandma and grandpa somehow always still get out the checkbook, and that won't show up in the retail sales. Tesla had 8,100 insurance registrations last week in China. Of course, that's a very low number. You're usually looking for 12, 13, 14,000, but that includes like 0 Model 3s, because the Model 3s are all being shipped overseas. Deliveries have happened in Germany and Netherlands, etc., all throughout Europe. I think this morning, I think I saw one of the Arab countries, Middle Eastern countries. Anyway, so until the Model 3s start hitting in China, these numbers are going to be lower than typical. Truflation this morning is still at 2.35, low and steady for the last week. So the PCE print coming up this Friday, I think that's another reason the market is saying, I think everything's just fine. Across the board, everything seems good. Okay, in the news that isn't news department, I got 3 items that are popping around all over the news, but they're not news. And so, but you need to take that into consideration. Okay, let me just talk about them. Tesla is being investigated by the SEC for various things. Headlines everywhere, no news. We knew about all of them. Vehicle range, that is set by the EPA. Corporate expenditures to benefit Elon personally, such as the famous glass house, old news. FSD, whether or not FSD should be called FSD, old news, et cetera, a nothing burger. Toyota has a breakthrough in solid state batteries, about to begin production, has a 700-mile range. We'll believe it when we see it. Old news. Toyota's been talking about their solid state forever without anything actually to show for it. Now, it turns out other companies have also made progress recently. Chinese battery maker CATL revealed it was preparing to mass produce its semi-solid state batteries before year's end. South Korea's Samsung SDI has completed a fully automated pilot line for solid state batteries. So I don't know. There you are. Lots of solid state batteries. Maybe Tesla's got something they're working on too. Years from now, before solid state batteries, if these are really any kind of improvement over what we already have, it'll be years before we're, as you can see with what's happening with 4680s, the ramp takes a very, very long time. And then, of course, at some point, it becomes very, very important. All right. Someone reported they got a call from Tesla. This is number three, the number three thing. Someone reported this morning, it's all over X, that they got a call from Tesla to confirm their Cybertruck reservation. It appears to be a hoax. So let's wait for a few folks to say it. If you look at it, yeah, it appears to be a hoax. So among other things that I suggested might be happening in Sunday night and yesterday morning's episodes was that it was for, I think, time for some rotation into the Dow and the S&P 500 stocks, into the Magnificent Eight, that the Magnificent Eight has been getting all of the action and the rest of the market has been pretty flat, quite frankly, as this bull has begun. Well, this morning we're seeing just such a move. I think the good earnings across the board are getting recognized, and the next natural move would be to broaden out. Does that mean that the Magnificent Eight won't do well? No, it doesn't mean that at all. It just means that there's going to be a broadening out. There's going to be more money, I believe, going into these other stocks. Now, like any such move, it's not going to be straight up. And this morning's good looking Dow numbers and S&P numbers, it might be a one-off, and maybe tomorrow, or even later today, we'll see that the Mag 7, Mag 8 are dominating again. I don't think so. Just like I continue to believe that bond yields will continue down, as I have been saying for weeks and months. Oil will trade in the 80s, down big time this morning. Inflation is over, deflation ahead, and the bull market is in its second leg. Tesla will hold steadily, and it'll just keep going steadily up back to around 275. And I think it's going to get hung up in that area right there, not going to 300 until we get the next catalyst news. That catalyst news will probably be Cybertruck related, but it could be anything else, but probably Cybertruck related as we get closer to the event, to the actual handoff, start to get more and more information about it. I think that's when we'll begin to see the next leg up on Tesla. So let's take a look at this morning's numbers. We have now got, that's not what I wanted to see. We've got Tesla up 3%. With the NASDAQ up 0.67, so much higher than its normal 2 to 3 beta. We've got the Dow up 0.67, we got the NASDAQ up 0.66, and we've got the S&P up 0.61. So that's unusual to see all three of them right in the same range. The Dow had been up much more this morning in terms of a percent. And so compared to the other two, so the NASDAQ, I think, is catching up. Overall, the increase came and is holding more or less. Okay, that's where we are. But Tesla is now up $6 with the Dow up 225, NASDAQ up 92, and the S&P up 27. The rest of the Magnificent Eight are all up except for Apple, down a fraction. And then we've got the Cathie Woods all up, all in the green, 100% in the green. All right, let's look to the other information that we care about. Okay, we've got the 30-year, we've got the 10-year is now up 3 basis points to 4.869. So not even getting close to 4.9. I think this will reverse later in the day. We have got the 2-month, not even up a basis point. We've got the 2-year up 6 basis points. So continuing to invert. So interesting. Read a whole long article yesterday about the whole business of inversion. And how it has predicted all the recessions and all the rest of this stuff. We are in a period of time. I'm going to do a story on this, or at least it'll be in something that I do later, maybe later today, maybe tomorrow. We have so many weird situations right now that I don't think a lot of the old methods of figuring things out are going to continue to work, because the aging baby boom and some of these other international things that are going on, I think it's just going to change things permanently. Or at least for a decade or so, because we've never seen these are record-breaking situations over and over again that we have not really seen before. Okay, oops, let's look at the rest of the news here internally in the, we've got this huge thing happening with the Bitcoin because the I don't totally understand it, but it's gone up dramatically, 34.4 for those of you who have been holding. Congratulations, you're doing really well this morning. Gold is retreating as there's a little bit more of a sense of security. I think people are not trying to get into something that will protect them in times of difficulty. We've got the dollar rallying a little bit this morning. Okay, and then we've got oil is down, as I mentioned, strongly down in below 85 now to 84.64. And the everything there is about what you'd expect. Okay, let me just check over one last, as I like to do, go back then and look at Tesla again. Tesla is now up 8, so up very strongly. I'm sorry, up $8. Yeah, up $8. Strongly up and moving up quickly towards that 275 I've been telling you about. No, we're not going to get back to 230. Maybe sometime later in November, but not in the immediate. Could we hit 275 by October 31st, as I talked about earlier? Yes, but there's no specificity there. There's no reason. It could be several days later. All right, let's see. So as I mentioned earlier, you want to get this guy. You want to get it. You can pay $25 for it. You can pay $29.95 on Amazon if that's how you'd like to buy it. I'd rather you buy it directly from me as opposed to on Amazon, although, it's the same, it's my product on Amazon. And it's doing well on Amazon. And then, of course, if you want to buy more than one, which most people seem to be buying now, if you want to buy 3 or 4, there's price points, just look below. If you want to buy 10, it gets all the way down to $21. So $210 for 10. And if you want to get it for free, you can join Patreon, and thank lots and lots of folks joining Patreon now. I think this news idea is catching hold. I'm producing news 2 to 5 times a day on Patreon with analysis as soon as it breaks. When I see it and I'm on the news, that's all I do all day long, 40 hours a week. I'm from 5:30 in the morning until 5:30 at night, 7 days a week, except Sunday morning. I'm looking at the news, okay? And when I see it, I put it up if I think it's important. There's lots of stuff I don't put up because it's just not important enough for me to put it in your email, okay? But if that sounds interesting to you, you can join at the $5 level, the $10 level. Either way, you're going to get the news. And then you're going to also get, if you join at the $10 level, you can get one of these guys for nothing, for free, absolutely nothing. All right, so all that information is also down below. Listen, it's going to be a great day in the market. I don't see anything. I mean, obviously, there could be news, but right now, I think it's going to be a big smile. I think you're going to have a smile on your face all day long if you're invested in Tesla. So I'll be talking to you, and it's been great having this conversation today.